Good afternoon. Welcome to RMU Live. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2019. I'm Andrew Ostrowski.
And I'm Sonu Babu. Here's what's happening now. After the tragic death of Antoine Rose, a candlelight vigil was held on campus in honor of him. Students across campus gathered in the gazebo Thursday night to commemorate the life of the late Antoine Rose. Among them was Marquis Scott Ford, who has a picture of Rose hanging in his dorm room. Ford went to elementary school with Rose and grew up in the same neighborhood with him. And for Marquis Scott Ford, the vigil made Antoine Rose more than just a statistic. With community support, he has more hope for what is to come.
Look to your left, look to your right. You're not standing here by yourself. You have someone to lean.
The vigil ended with a moment of silence. For more information, visit RMU-CenturyMedia.com.
The owner of Sunoco in western Pennsylvania lost his business relationship with the gas station giant. Sunoco stopped fuel deliveries and removed all Sunoco branding at the gas station. The owner owns a billboard that was flashing a racial slur and a message that said, "Just to serve, get over it," in response to Officer Michael Rosfeld being found not guilty last Friday in the shooting of Antoine Rose. One person has been killed in the Thursday evening shooting. Police were called at about 5 p.m. to 12th and 13th Avenue in Homeland, where they found one person dead and another injured. The victims' identities have not been released. Police had information that the shooter may have been in a nearby house.
A man got the death penalty on Thursday after murdering a 14-year-old girl. 46-year-old Jacob Sullivan allegedly raped, murdered, and dismembered 14-year-old Grace Packer in 2016. Her mother, Sarah Packer, wanted her dead. The couple hid her remains in cat litter for months after strangling her and later cut them up and dumped them in the woods, where a hunter found them in October of 2016. After 3 days, Sullivan received the death penalty, while Packer received a life sentence after pleading guilty to first-degree murder. All 12 Bucks County jury members agreed to the death penalty. A woman in Fayette County died in her apartment due to a fire on Thursday morning. The apartment set ablaze in the 100 block of Greater Point Marion Road in Spring Hill Township early in the morning. The victim has not been identified, and officials are still investigating the cause of the fire. And police are looking for a missing man in Fayette County. He was last seen in a doctor's appointment in Uniontown and has schizophrenia as well as high blood pressure. 43-year-old Edward Dave Eckel left the waiting room around 12:45 p.m. He currently requires medication for his conditions that he has not yet taken. Eckel is 6 feet tall and balding with clean-shaven facial hair and was wearing glasses when he was last seen. Anyone who has seen Eckel is asked to call 724-439-7111.
Two men from Lehighton are now accused of sexually assaulting a girl hundreds of times over 7 years. Brent Getz and Gregory Wagner were charged on Tuesday for several charges relating to the assault. The girl said Wagner began the assaults when she was 4 years old, and Getz became a participant just a few years later. Both men are now facing a bail of $250,000 each.
A young girl said that bullies shot up her Pottstown home after being chased away by the police. Gage Golding has the story.
As soon as I stood up, my niece said, "Marie," bullets started flying.
The Samba family say they could have never imagined bullying would lead to this.
I mean, it was like bow, bow, bow. I mean, glass was flying. I didn't even know what happened.
And for 13-year-old Jasmine Samba, it's a nightmare that won't end. Her family moved to Pottstown, Montgomery County from Philadelphia late last year, and that's when she says bullies at the middle school began to target her.
At first I was doing fine until they started calling me all kinds of names, talking about when they see me that they're going to put me in a body bag.
Family members fear that bullying may have boiled over Sunday night when they say a group of girls came to their house in the 500 block of West Street, taunting Jasmine, calling her names. Police showed up and the girls left. 10 minutes later, gunfire.
It hit here. This curtain has holes in it. And I started hearing broken glass. When I turned and looked at my window in front of me, I seen the holes.
Bullet holes dot their living room ceiling and walls, and you can still see holes in the windows.
So I started screaming, grab my kids, grab my kids. We crawled like army style like this with our feet, and I'm dragging my 10-year-old by her foot.
The Samba family says enough is enough.
What do you have to say to anyone who is shooting through your home?
That the police is gonna find you and y'all gonna get locked up from doing this over bullying and...
Reporting for RMU Century Media, I'm Gage Golding.
Luckily, no one was injured in the shooting. The Pottstown School District says that bullying has been a serious, ongoing problem and are cooperating with the police.
The father of the suspect accused in the shooting death of a police officer in New Kensington has been arrested again. Gregory Balcom Jr. was arrested on charges of witness intimidation related to his son's case on Thursday morning. Ramel Sal Holt was charged in the death of Officer Brian Shaw in 2017. Balcom posted messages on Facebook that called the witness in Holt's case a rat and a cheese eater. A raffle ticket was used to help police identify a suspect involved in a stabbing incident at Just a Tavern on March 7th. Eric Cook attacked two men and a woman at the bar. A witness gave police a raffle ticket that her boyfriend bought from Cook earlier, which had his name and phone number on it. Cook was charged Wednesday with 3 counts of attempted homicide and other related offenses.
And it's looking like a very dreary afternoon, but we have Scott here to cheer us up. Scott, is it looking any better for us today?
Well, for today's afternoon, the weather is definitely looking a lot rainier than we're used to. However, thankfully it is not snow. Thankfully to that high of 58 degrees and that low of 52. Humidity of 95%, any precipitation of 98%. Definitely gonna want to take your umbrella out today. Be sure to tune in later for tomorrow's forecast and for the 5-day weather forecast.
Coming up after the break, the first HIV positive kidney has been donated.
And NASA is paying people to stay in bed for 60 days. Stay tuned.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
A bus driver was shot in the chest during a deadly shooting, but he managed to drive all 12 passengers to safety. Michael Spears has the story.
Eric Stark arrived at Harborview Medical Center a hero, stable according to Seattle firefighters, and flanked by law enforcement. Chopper 7 over the King County Metro bus Stark was driving when he was shot. A bullet through the windshield, a bullet that didn't stop him.
He was able to have the wherewithal to put the bus in reverse, back it up, turn it around, which is no easy feat in and of itself.
12 lives on board this Route 75 bus, according to King County Metro, that an injured Stark drove away from the gunman to safety.
This bus driver truly is a hero.
A 56-year-old woman also shot, according to investigators arriving at Harborview Medical Center shortly after Stark. The hospital says both are being evaluated. Neither are critical or suffering life-threatening injuries. Metro said Stark has been a driver with them since 2012. His actions in the face of danger commended by their general manager and King County executive Dow Constantine.
He acted heroically and put the well-being of his passengers above all else.
2 people were killed. The police caught up to the gunman after a half-mile chase where he was taken into custody.
Doctors at Johns Hopkins performed the first kidney transplant to an HIV-positive recipient from a living HIV-positive donor on Monday. The donor is 36-year-old Nina Martinez of Atlanta, Georgia. She acquired HIV from a transfusion in 1983 when she was just 6 years old. HIV-positive organ transplants were not allowed at all until 2013 because both the virus and the drugs used to control it can damage kidneys. Since it became legal, about 100 have been performed, but all the donor kidneys came from deceased patients until now. Doctors had to make sure Martinez and her anonymous recipient had similar strains of the HIV, so the recipient's treatment plan will still be effective. The surgeon who performed the operation said it wasn't much different than from any other donor operation. Martinez and the recipient are both recovering well.
The Louisiana State Fire Marshal's office is investigating the cause of a fire that killed 2 children in Washington Parish early Wednesday morning. 3 other children hurt in the blaze were airlifted to Baton Rouge hospitals. As Michael Vinasanu reports, the community is devastated.
Heartbreaking is like too light of a term to describe it.
The normally quiet city of Franklinton was jolted to its core early Wednesday morning. 2 children killed in a matter of minutes.
Just yesterday, those kids were in the yard playing with, riding their bicycles, playing with the puppies. Just yesterday.
Around 12:45, firefighters were called to Bow Drive for a home fire. The state fire marshal saying by the time they arrived, the home was in flames. 2 adults and 3 kids made it out, but 2 other children did not.
The family indicated that there were still 2 children unaccounted for in the home. Firefighters later located the bodies of 2 children, a 10-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy, in separate bedrooms.
Fire investigators said there were smoke detectors, but they don't believe they worked. Now the state fire marshal says there is a critical message for every family.
If you go to bed tonight and you don't know that you have a working smoke alarm, or you don't know that you've practiced a home escape plan, then you're putting your family in unnecessary danger, and you shouldn't go to bed tonight.
Neighbors thinking of a different message after heartbreak shattered this community.
You can't ever, go to bed mad, or never let them just as many times a day. There's never enough times to say I love you. There's never enough times to count your blessing.
The condition of the children who were hurt in the fire is not known.
The Trump administration charged practices for housing. The Department of Housing and Urban Development is seeking damages for anyone who was harmed by the targeting policies Facebook has in place that allow landlords and employers to limit their audiences by race and gender.
Offering 24 participants their dream job, sleeping in a bed for 60 days. Participants will be paid around $19,000. Their beds will be on an incline so their feet is above their heads to mimic space. And they will be asked to do daily activities such as lying down, eating, and going to the bathroom. Individuals must be 24 to 55 years old and be able to speak German.
Coming up, Amazon is bringing jobs to Austin, Texas.
And a New York gang killed a teen in a disturbing way. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Surveillance footage shows a 21-year-old being chased down in Brooklyn before he was fatally shot. Police released surveillance video of the March 19th murder on Thursday. At around 5 p.m., Taekwon Eversley was chased by 10 people for several blocks in New Lots Avenue before they caught up to him, shooting him 5 times. 4 out of the 10 suspects have been identified and have clear gang relations.
Police arrested a former caretaker at an Oklahoma City retirement home accused of purposely trying to harm a resident. She's accused of making an 81-year-old man with dementia eat jalapeno peppers. Cassandra Sweetman has the story.
An unsuspecting patient at the mercy of nurses and caretakers. The 81-year-old man living here at the Village on Park near South Penn and Southwest 104th. Suffering from dementia, police say the man relied on help from workers in the memory care living unit. But one morning, authorities say this woman, 30-year-old Kyra Johnson, took advantage of that trust. According to court documents, other employees saw her chop up and place a jalapeno pepper in the eggs that were served to the victim. One witness even said, "I hope that is not hot," to which she allegedly replied, "I hope it is." Investigators reported Johnson was seen feeding him the eggs with the jalapeno in them, even though he was not accustomed to eating spicy food and did not need assistance feeding himself. He was seen fanning and gasping for air to cool his mouth. Witnesses told investigators she meant to cause him pain and suffering. We reached Johnson by phone, but she declined to comment. She was arrested and charged with abuse by a caretaker.
Village on the Park confirms Johnson no longer works there. Amazon is giving Texas some love after delivering New York the cold shoulder. The retail giant announced it Thursday it is bringing 800 new tech jobs to Austin. The positions will cover areas like engineering, research, science, and cloud computing. This marks the first significant corporate expansion since Amazon scrapped plans for a new headquarters in New York's Long Island City neighborhood. That happened shortly after the juggernaut built by Bezos wrapped up a nationwide search and announced it was adding HQs to both Northern Virginia and New York. The Austin expansion was actually in the works before the company decided to ditch its New York plans. Amazon already has 1,000 corporate employees in Austin and says it has invested $7 billion in Texas since 2011. Coming up, a truck plowed into a crowd in Guatemala.
And Ryan Giacobbe has the latest with RMU Sports. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for them. Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
At least 18 people were killed in Guatemala after they were hit by a truck. The group of people were on the road at the site of a hit and run that occurred earlier when the truck hit them. A spokesman for the fire department said, quote, "It seems that the semi-trailer did not notice the number of people on the roadway and ran them over." New European Union safety rules will require all new cars sold in Europe to be fitted with systems that limit the vehicle's speed. Right now, speed assistance systems limit engine power to keep vehicles keep vehicles under the speed limit unless the driver overrides it. Other considerations include technology that should put stricter speed limits near schools and hospitals.
It's the day after an eventful 24 hours in Westminster. There were hopes that Wednesday would prove some clarity, even some unity, but it ended in more confusion and division. Prime Minister Theresa May offered to resign if her party backs her twice-defeated Brexit deal, before lawmakers failed to agree on an alternative from a menu of 8 different options. As CNN's John DeFerros reports, the political statement is bringing a lot of uncertainty to the business world.
The debate within the British Parliament is complex and cannot be described as black and white. And the business community is saying they don't like the shades of gray or uncertainty. So key members of that community are standing up and suggesting enough is enough when it comes to the debate over Brexit.
Let's land on something and stick with it so that businesses have the clarity and precision they need to get on and trade. Brexit's caused so much uncertainty in our business communities over the last 3 years, and a lot of companies feel like they're going around in circles. They need to stop that holding pattern. They need to be able to get back to investing, to hiring, and to growing the economy. And lifting this sort of fog that's all around them is really, really important over the coming weeks.
Well, it's like in business. You know, it's time to make a decision. You know, you can make slow no's, and so far we've been very successful at delivering a slow no. But actually, it's a time for actually getting on and making a decision.
The annual conference of the British Chambers of Commerce took place after 8 indicative votes were all no's going to the next stage. And we're in a scenario right now where Prime Minister Theresa May's proposal has been shot down by a wide margin on 2 occasions. So the Mayor of London told me that this paralysis in Parliament suggests that the power should go back to the people with a second referendum.
What's clear to me is Parliament's in gridlock. And the best way to unlock the gridlock is to give the British public a say. But also, we've got a situation where British businesses are worried about the deal Prime Minister May's done. They're worried about a no-deal situation. Of course, they want certainty, but not if that certainty is a no-deal situation or a bad Brexit deal. And my worry is the impression we're giving to people outside of our country is we're not open-minded, outward-looking, pluralistic, pro-business. That's why it's really important Parliament realises that they themselves can't solve this.
And to avoid crashing out of the European Union on April 12, the Mayor said they should consider revoking Article 50, which would stop the clock on the withdrawal from the EU. It's a hot-button issue and one that the business community doesn't want to touch just yet. John Defterius, CNN Business, London.
The Bank of England says Brexit is costing the UK $1 billion every week as uncertainty leads consumers to not invest as much.
Ryan Giacobbe has the latest for us in Robert Morris Sports. Ryan, how are the teams doing?
Thanks, Andrew. I'm Ryan Giacobbe with sports, and now the Pittsburgh Pirates have returned for the 2019 regular MLB season, and they kicked off with an unfortunate 5-3 loss at the hands of the Cincinnati Reds. Derek Dietrich scored a go-ahead 3-run home run to lead the Reds over the Pirates to win 5-3. The Pirates play Game 2 of the 3-game set tomorrow at 2:10 p.m. The Pittsburgh Penguins defeated the New York Rangers 5-2 this past Monday. Nick Bjugstad, Justin Schultz, Matt Cullen, and Teddy Bluger contributed to the team's 5 goals in the win. The Penguins host the Nashville Predators tonight at 7 p.m. at PPG Paints Arena. Army women's basketball lost in the NCAA tournament first round against the University of Louisville 69-34. Natalie Villafort contributed 25 minutes of play and scored 5 field goals, 3 3-pointers, 3 rebounds, and 13 points scored. Women's basketball ends their season with an overall record of 22-11 and a record of 16-2 in Northeast Conference play. After the break, we'll talk about some more about sports, and Scott McDaniel has the weather. Stay tuned.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfies, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to RMU Live. RMU men's basketball had their season cut short after they lost against the Presbyterian College Blue hosts 77-70 last Sunday. Matt McConnell played the last game of his Robert Morris career by scoring 4 field goals, 2 free throws, 3 rebounds, and 10 points scored in the loss. Men's basketball finishes their season with an 18-17 overall record and an 11-7 record in Northeast Conference play. RMU men's hockey had their AHA tournament run cut short as well after they fell short against the American International College Yellow Jackets 3-2. Alex Tonja and Daniel Mantenuto scored in the loss. Men's hockey finishes their season with an overall record of 16-22-2 and a conference record of 11-15-2. RMU women's lacrosse continues to strive because of the power of the Gandy twins after they defeated Radford University 13-12 in overtime last weekend. Melanie Gandy tied the game at 12-12 to force overtime, and Mackenzie Gandy made the winning shot to take home the winning gold 13-12. Women's lacrosse travels to Philadelphia as they will be playing against the Drexel University Dragons tomorrow at 3 p.m. RMU men's lacrosse surprisingly continues to struggle this 2019 season as they dropped their second NEC contest against the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers 14-11 last Saturday. And what seemed like the comeback trail for the Colonials turned into a loss after the Colonials gave up 6 consecutive goals in the fourth quarter. They dropped the contest 14-11 after they led 11-8 by the end of the third quarter. Men's lacrosse continues NEC play this weekend when they travel to Philadelphia to play against St. Joseph's University at 1 p.m. Army softball came back for the 2019 home opener this past Wednesday in a doubleheader against Cleveland State University. Robert Morris defeated Cleveland State in the first game 6-5 on a walk-off single from Abrielle McCartney. Robert Morris lost in the second game. CSU scored the go-ahead run in the 6th inning to eventually win the game 8-5 over the Colonials. Army travels to New Britain, Connecticut to play against Central Connecticut State in the first NEC doubleheader of the 2019 season. They play at 1 p.m. Now let's check with the stud weatherman Scott McDaniel of the spring weather. Scott, what's happening with the warm weather?
Well, thank you for the kind words, Ryan. Well, looking into tomorrow's weather, we are looking at a high of 65 degrees with a low of 32 with a condition of rainy. Definitely going to want to take out your umbrella with a humidity of 60% and a precipitation of 80%. Definitely going to want to take out your umbrella. Looking into the 5-day forecast now, we are looking at Sunday with cloudy being a high of 35 and a low of 23. Monday being sunny with a high of 46 and a low of 30. Tuesday also being cloudy with a high of 54 and a low of 36. Wednesday being sunny with a high of 58 and a low of 39, and Thursday also being cloudy with a high of 62 and a low of 48. Thank you for joining us for this weather forecast. I have been Scott McDaniel.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us.
We will see you next week.